Up and at 'em on a Monday morning off of actually for June, for what is supposed to be kind of the off season, if you will. We consider it in the off season. A busy, entertaining sports weekend.
Oh, entertaining. Entertaining it was, for sure. A lot of things happening. Things are happening.
It was actually a very, very fun weekend to get into the College World Series if you wanted to do that.
Yep.
If you wanted to get into a little bit of NHL hockey, that was a blowout there.
Yes.
On Saturday night, as one of my buddies thought might have been the easiest bet in the world. Didn't think he meant that it would be 8-1.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you would have taken I don't think many people would have taken the over on 8.
But it looks like both NHL and NBA are heading for what I'd never heard of. I'd never heard of this phrase until yesterday, the gentleman's sweep.
Oh, yeah, the gentleman's sweep. Yeah.
I was unfamiliar with that.
We're not going to sweep you. We're going to let you get one more game.
Yeah.
Keep your dignity and pride about you. That way, in 10 years, when we're looking at your legacy and we're talking about you, say, Connor McDavid, the greatest NHL forward, has never been swept.
Yeah, okay. Let's see how that works.
See how that works? So you can always have that. I mean, it doesn't say that you didn't lose 10 series 4-1. But if you've never been swept, that's something that you can keep in your resume.
So you had all that, and then if it wasn't enough, you had one of the wildest, most entertaining finishes I've seen from a U.S. Open, a golf tournament, that left me confused. I wasn't sure how to handle Bryson DeChambeau winning. I'd like to think that I don't like him, but after this weekend, I'm not sure I can dislike him.
Sporty Sport Talk. Did he win, or did Rory lose?
Can it be both?
I don't know. No, of course not. Not in sports talk. Of course not. We can't have nuance. What are you talking about?
I think it has to be both. I'm not sure. I'm interested to have this discussion a little bit this morning and see what people's opinions are on Bryson DeChambeau, because, again, I really didn't want to like him. Mm-hmm. I really don't want to like. He's a whiner. He's a complainer. You know, he's never hit a bad golf shot. Something always goes wrong. There was a pebble in the line. Somebody moved in his backswing, but yet there he was yesterday, playing to the crowd, and they obviously even as he was going to win, they were reliving his victory in 2020 at a COVID tournament where nobody was there to really celebrate him winning a major, which is a huge deal. And they showed his family, his mom, dad, him having to kind of, I guess, Skype with them or Zoom with them after the win. And then yesterday, him kind of getting emotional, talking about, it being Father's Day and his father passing away. And then the guy that I did like, Rory McIlroy, acting like a child, but at the same time, I kind of genuinely felt really bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for him. You choked the PGA away, sir. You have to stand here and answer these questions. Yeah. You have to stand here and answer these questions, sir. You can't just skirt out because you lost.
That didn't bother me that he didn't answer. It was, did you see the video of him, of the wheels squealing in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Like, that one, I was like, ooh, dude, that's a bad look.
All of the above. Yeah, Roy, you don't get a special pass. Stand here and answer these questions.
And I honestly think, and a part of it is why we say he won it. Part of it, I think, is because of the shot that DeChambeau hit from the bunker to put himself in position to win it, while I also think Rory completely blew it. We'll talk about that. We'll get into all of that. Interesting weekend in sports across the board. College World Series taking place. Did you get into it a good bit?
Nope.
Did you find yourself? No, not at all?
Nope. My season ended and then restarted when we hired a coach.
Okay.
It's 2025 for me. 240-something days till baseball season.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
So you just completely removed yourself. You've
a little. I mean, I'm hearing things. I know the games are being good. They're playing good games, and the walk-off homers, excitement. I hear all that. But I'm waiting until we're back on. I'm waiting until we're back on the diamond. But everything like that, I heard there's some good games happening.
I watched a little. Yesterday was the first time I got a little bit into it. I got a little bit last night after the Open. In between I was flipping back and forth between the race which was pretty entertaining yesterday. Flipping back between that and the College World Series, also, by the way, finished up that movie Under Paris, the shark movie.
Oh, you had to get back to it.
Well, yeah, I either again, did I waste an hour of my life or did I learn an hour of my life? And I figured I needed to finish up the last 40 minutes of it. If you got nothing to do at night, you can check it out. If you have anything else to do on Netflix.
Here's the deal that's happened with me and Netflix. I went logging to Netflix this weekend, said I had to sign back up.
Oh, no.
You know, one of these deals with the card, blah, 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 and I'm not sure I'm going to do it. They might have given me a chance to wiggle free.
They gave you your out.
They might have gave me my out. I don't think I was ever going to take an out if they would have just kept me on board. But now I might wiggle out.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I'm going back through the step of signing back up.
Because how much do you really use it?
Not enough to justify it, honestly. But it was just one of those things in perpetual motion that I had. I would go and check there every once in a while. I use it a lot of times for stand-up comedy. I watch a lot of stand-up on there.
Oh, okay.
But do I really want to go through 2 more steps to signing back up again? I don't know.
Yeah, I did Peacock for a little while IndyCar was kind of sitting on there, and it's like, yeah, I think I can take a pass on that. So I'm kind of like you. I'm trying to start thinking, what can I get rid of?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was not planning on it, but
now this might spur you. This might spur. This
might be my chance.
Are you not signing back up because of the money, or are you not signing up because of laziness to go through the double?
Pure laziness.
Okay,
pure laziness. I don't want to just get the new card out because actually it's laziness and frustration because I don't really even know what the issue is. They didn't really send me anything, or maybe they did. I don't know, but it's more so laziness than anything else.
Sadly, I can be there with you. All right.
Now, probably if they had like a one button click, re-sign back up, I might be back on.
Also, you don't have. This means your wife doesn't fully get into Netflix, so you're not having the peer pressure there. And it also means your daughter is not of age yet where there's a show, because that's my driving force with Netflix in particular, is my daughter pretty much watches that and only that.
Yeah, Netflix does have a few shows that the baby does participate in. Word Party, Math Party. There's a couple of things that she's into, but we can find some substitutes.
All right, there you go. Well,
she can learn early. Things disappear.
Well, we'll get into, again, a lot of the baseball, a lot of the golf from the weekend. Very interesting. Jamie Bradford will join us coming up in the next hour, and we'll get his take now. As we've heard the press conference from Paul Mainieri, we're aware of all the assistants. We know everything now, and we just kind of move forward now with South Carolina baseball. Paul Mainieri, the old Paul, I think that's what we're going to call him, Paul. The video, I think they came out either late Thursday or maybe Friday. I can't remember. I think I saw it Friday after our show. But it's him walking around his office, his new office, and making the comment, always wanted. It's just old sentimental baseball coach saying, always wanted an office overlooking the field.
That's really cool. That's probably one of your goals, is to be able to look out over the diamond. It's a beautiful view, especially in one of those offices. If it's the office that I think it is, being able to sit at this perfectly manicured every day, it's probably one of the top spots he could be in. But
we'll get Jamie Bradford's opinion on where South Carolina baseball is, where it is going moving forward. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines where Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in. How you feeling this morning, young man?
I'm feeling good, Bill. You're going to have to give me the score of that College World Series. I took me a melatonin yesterday about 2:30. I don't know. I stayed in the bed until off and on till 3 o'clock this morning. But I can also, Saturday, I sat down and I had a research committee, and I talked to my research committee CEO, and we found out exactly why they say why Monty Lee got fired at Clemson. I can't tell it on the radio. I want to know the next time you all going to be on site, and old Gamecock Larry going to get somebody to bring him out to see you early that morning, and I'm going to explain to you why Monty Lee got fired at Clemson, only having one losing season. I got it all this weekend. It took me a while, but we got it. And I'm going to explain to you also why Monty Lee, well, no, I'm glad he didn't get the Gamecock job, but we got what we want. We got a good coach, the next second, the Coach Hammer. We got the staff. And I'm going to tell you right now, old Gamecock Larry, whether I be around next year, but you will be in the College World Series in 2025. You will be in the College World Series the first year of this coaching staff. Now, we got the young men coming in. We got the young men on the team. And I hope I'm around to see it. We will be in the College World Series in 2025. Now, what else have I got to say? I want to say about drag racing and drag racing and motocross team doing great, man. They racing. They going to somewhere in Florida next week, but they fly an old Gamecock flag high. But I guess I missed Sunday. I did. I stayed to bed about 12, 13 hours. But I feel good. Got up this morning to have me some liver pudding and grits about 4:30, 2 cups of coffee, 2 biscuits from the old-timey meat market, and I'm ready to go. Talk to you later. Love all y'all. Go Gamecock.
803-404-6100. You can weigh in if you want to do so. This morning we'll get into a little bit of South Carolina athletics over the week. We did not discuss last Friday the news of Chance Miller departing for Coastal Carolina. We'll let Preston get into a little bit of that. Also get you those update scores, updated bracket on the College World Series, just so you can kind of know where it's at going into the week. Just want to keep you informed. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. You know, as we get older, things start to happen. Things start to change. Maybe you're not recovering from workouts quite as fast. Maybe you're struggling with what's called brain fog. Trust me, I'm very familiar with that. But there's something you can do about it. That's just not a natural part of the aging process. And at the Men's Clinic, they are experts in men's health and believe all men deserve to live their best life. And that means achieving optimal health and wellness. And they're going to treat you individually. There's nothing generic about you. You're an individual and you need to be treated like an individual. So line up an appointment today, get a free testosterone test, and see what Dr. Dan Balknight can do for you. 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. It's a safe place. You can go and talk about your health issues. And Dr. Dan Balknight for over 20 years has been helping men enjoy and lead a healthy lifestyle. So line up your appointment today, 803-875-MENS.
starting out your Monday morning on the right foot. No accidents to report at this time. We don't appear to have any major slowdowns as well. And we're looking for a high today of 91, actually today and tomorrow, with a mix of clouds and sun, really for the next couple of days. But it's temperatures staying in the low 90s throughout the week, maybe warming back up for the weekend. But as of right now, we don't really have any rain in the forecast until maybe a couple chances starting on Saturday. So not too bad. Welcome to summer. It is 74 right now on the early game.
$6:19 as we get you up and get you going here. We'll get to our countdowns as well. A new week, few less days now until the start of college football season. Few less days until the release of college football for PlayStation and Xbox and whichever other game.
29 to be exact.
29, yes. Austin, my son, and I, we talked about that yesterday.
Okay. Is he excited?
He's pretty fired up, yeah. He's getting to that point. He's getting to that point now where he's like realizing this is...
It's happening.
It's happening.
He's never played this game in his lifetime.
Not like this.
Only old ones.
That's right. I'm trying to think. I think he did get to play. He was right about that age where the PlayStation 2 was. I still had a PlayStation 2 or 3. I don't know. One of them. I had one of them, and he got to play it. And so, but that was in his very infancy of learning how to video game, if you will.
Yeah, but he's never experienced the release of one. Yeah. Big day. Yeah. Big day.
So, we'll get to those countdowns. 803-404-6100. Just in case you're wondering, tonight, by the way, College World Series taking place. You will have a Kentucky-Texas A&M game that will be on ESPN, 6 p.m. I'm looking at the bracket here. 6 p.m. tonight is when that will get going. And then tomorrow, you'll have North Carolina and Florida State in an elimination game. North Carolina and Florida State, I believe, is what we have here as I look at the bracket, if I'm reading this correctly. And then you'll also have another game tomorrow night that will is listed as a 6 o'clock game. The North Carolina Florida State game listed as a 1 o'clock game, if I'm reading this correctly and how it looks. So we will keep you updated on that. But obviously, College World Series, not quite as fun if South Carolina, Clemson, or Coastal not involved in it in some way, shape, or form. Let's get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. David wants to weigh in this morning. David, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fine. Hope y'all are. You're forgetting to count down to Jen's birthday, just saying. I'm also hearing that Kingston, it appears he's going to Creighton, and also Carolina picked up a West Coast slugger, maybe paying dividends already. I wanted to give a shout-out to a couple Gamecocks. Unfortunately, I wanted to give a shout-out to Bianca Belair, but it was different. Didn't go as planned. But I wanted to give a shout-out to Trick Williams. He did some in-ring work with Cody Rhodes. And I always thought that Lou had used Skip for a scapegoat back in the day. But shout-out to Skip for the Stallions continuing their dominance. Appreciate what y'all do. And remember to count down to Jen's birthday. Thank you.
32 days.
32 days until July 19th. That's correct. And yes, sir, you maybe understated that a little bit because, Bill, do you know what Skip Holtz and one of our other greatest coaches in football history, the inventor of Lambeau, the Buck sweep,
Vince Lombardi?
Do you know what Skip and Vince Lombardi have in common? They're the only coaches to win three-time champions, three-peat in professional football.
To go back to back to back.
3 times.
Yeah, I was like, because that Belichick guy's got a couple.
Yeah, I mean, he won a couple
championships,
that
but
was
none of them were 3 consecutive. Is what you're saying.
Skip Holtz, Vince Lombardi, put it on the books.
You know, there's always going to is there always going to be the question of because we even talking about this Monty Lee thing and handing off and if they're winning of what South Carolina football looks like today if Skip Holtz gets that job.
I don't know if there's always be that question, but I have no doubt in my mind that it would have worked out better for the program, for sure. I mean,
you couldn't turn down Steve Spurrier.
No. At the end of the 5 years, it was over. They needed a new regime. At the time when Coach Holtz wanted to relinquish and hand the program to Skip after the second Outback Bowl, we were moving and grooving, and it would have worked very well.
Really?
But at the end of 5 years, no, they needed to change.
But for the Birmingham Stallions, it has worked perfect as you were. Three-peat.
Dominance of the USFL.
That is something. That is something right there. That is what a job. What a coaching job there. 803-404-6100. Let's get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gary wants to weigh in this morning. Gary, how you doing? What's on your mind?
Hold on, let me get with you. Hey, I heard you talking about Chance Miller going to Coastal, and I kind of beat you to it, Preston. Sorry, but I've been kind of harping on this one. They got a lot going on. I know their basketball department on the men's side has completely turned over. I think he's going to walk into a really, really, really good situation. You got Tim Beck down there, the new football coach, Gary Gilmore, a legend in his own right, retiring. They're just passing the torch down to the next guy, which I think is awesome. I think he had about 1,200 wins or something, I believe. And their new basketball coach, Justin Gray, a pretty accomplished guy, was at Winthrop, turned Western Carolina around, so I'm pretty sure that's somebody Coach Parrish ran into maybe a couple of times. I think Chattanooga was in the SoCon, I believe. I don't know. Maybe this is I look at Justin Gray as a guy to bring on Coach Parrish's staff. You know, maybe if he turns around Coastal, that'd be a great step up for him. But they're seeing some weird stuff on the internet about Beamer, like this is the do or die type of year, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, all the Muschamps guys are gone now, so I think Coach Beamer deserves a right to recruit and develop all of his guys. I mean, we can't expect to turn something around in 3 or 4 seasons. We had a slump with the O-line last year. We all know if the O-line was better, we probably would have won a couple more games. And we still had some games we should have won, the Florida game especially. But we gotta have some we gotta find some joy in a sense, But Preston, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take that Coastal thing on out.
Appreciate your call, man. No, it never stealing thunder. My angle from that is, I believe Coastal is definitely doing some really innovative things. Obviously with Joe Moglia being, I'm not sure what his exact title is, president of athletics or something like that, because Chance even got Chance Miller, who left South Carolina, he even got a really interesting title at Coastal, vice president for intercollegiate athletes and university recreation. I don't know what that means. I assume it's a similar role as an athletic director, but it's a little bit different than athletic director because when we think of AD, we think sort of facilities, hiring, but now in this new age, you have to have somebody who has a few more skills, and Chance had a lot of those skills. He's sort of in the new age of what we think of what athletic directors are becoming, whereas Coach Tanner is sort of the old age of what an athletic director was, maybe the former coach who takes on the athletic director. Chance is going to be the guy who comes through law school, through that sort of pipeline, understands the legalities and more of the business aspect of college athletics, because newsflash, it is a business. And I do think it's a pretty significant loss for the Gamecock athletic department. Obviously, he's going to go to Coastal and do what he does there. But this is why it's always tricky when you get into those situations where you have talented folks on staff, because you never want to see them leave, but also you want to see them pursue their opportunities. So I do think it's going to be a pretty significant loss. And when you look around, if you go to a Gamecock football game and you see those LED lights, that was Chance. You see the DJ, that was Chance. 1801 Club, that was Chance. If you plan on watching the soccer game this summer, that was Chance. So he's had a very significant impact on the experience of Gamecock fans, not to mention pretty much being the lead dog on the hires of Shane Beamer and Lamont Paris. So we'll see. I do think it's a significant loss. And as you said, as the caller said, Coastal's doing some really interesting, innovative things. I'm really interested to see how that athletic department goes.
803-404-6100. We will get back into a little bit more of that, as you heard Preston talk about there with Chance Miller, how much of a loss that might be. We'll also talk a little recruiting and summer camp. South Carolina sending out a quarterback offer yesterday. We'll let you know who, or maybe not yesterday, but over the weekend, we'll let you know which.
A1 name for an athlete.
Well, we will.
Solid name. I don't know how good he is. He's got a good name.
I'm with you on that. I have no clue how good he is, but we'll get into that. We'll tell you about that. Also, maybe later on this show, we got to get into what in the world is going on in Colorado. What a weekend for Colorado football with reports. We'll get into that a little bit as well. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet, where the savings are rolling on here during the summer. That's right. They have exclusive deals, and right now is the time for you to get out to Love Chevrolet and celebrate these incredible summer savings on the entire lineup of award-winning Chevrolets. It's unprecedented savings. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. Go check out the entire line. Go check out the 14 acres of brand-new Chevys. Check out the $1,000 low-price guarantee, which means you can actually shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks that love Chevrolet, and they will top it. And, of course, visit with that incredible sales staff. So friendly, so courteous, ready to help make sure you make the most informed decision you're going to make with the way they answer your questions and get you the information you need to make that next big purchase. So go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. And together, let's drive.
And happy Monday morning. Do have one accident to let you know about, and that's I-26 eastbound there at Old Sandy Run Road, otherwise known as Exit 125. Aside from that, traffic flow is pretty decent, and so is the forecast. 91 today and tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, back to the low 90s for the remainder of the week. Not really seeing much rain in the forecast as of right now. But we're starting the morning off at 74 on the early game.
.34 as we roll along here on a Monday morning, June the 17th. I'll be out tomorrow. We'll all be out on Wednesday. It's this time of year where I think we all have to coordinate our calendars. I believe both Jen and Preston are out on Thursday.
Yes, I'm out Thursday and Friday.
And Preston, you're back on Friday, where we will be broadcasting live from Liberty on the Lake for the Lake Murray Power Boat Run.
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. Okay, quick breakdown of the schedule. Try and keep up with that kind of like we are. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. So South Carolina over the weekend, they had put a lot of eggs in the Ryan Montgomery quarterbacking basket, the 2025. He ended up committing to the University of Georgia. We'll see if that sticks. We'll see how that holds. Who knows in this day and age, because you look at what Georgia's doing on the recruiting trail. They've still got Gunnar Stockton there, who is the five-star quarterback from a few years ago. They just brought in Jaden Rashada, who is a five-star quarterback and has 3 years of eligibility left.
Wait, did you mention the guy that – did you say Gunnar Stockton?
Stockton's still hanging around.
Still hanging around?
Yep.
Maybe we can get him on the rebound.
That's – yeah, of all the wild, weird things now in college, when a kid commits somewhere, you're kind of like, all right,
cool.
Well, don't burn that bridge.
Game on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that used to mean we're still going to recruit you. Now it means even when you're at that school, we may still recruit you. But South Carolina would like to take a quarterback in this class, and I think it's interesting how you go about recruiting quarterbacks these days, because Preston, there's an element of almost like, all right, we will offer you, but do you understand that probably you're going to redshirt and you might be sitting behind people for 2 or 3 years? Are you willing to do that? Because you can't just bring in guys and all of a sudden 3 quarterbacks look around and be like, oh, that fourth guy over there is the guy I'm transferring out, and you go from having a depth of 4 quarterbacks to 1 in the blink of an eye.
Yes. You say that to the quarterback, and they look at you the same way my toddler looks at me when I say, hey, if you do this, then we can't do this. And you know what she says? Okay. And then when we go, she falls out. That's exactly what these quarterbacks do. They look at the coaches, and they're like, oh, yeah. Red shirt for you? Wait, by Terror? Yeah. And then when they sit the bench, and they're like, oh, no, we're not doing this. So, of course, everybody agrees to this, but it doesn't happen very often as far as execution is concerned.
West Side's Cutter Woods, who has been committed. He has been committed to Wake Forest. On April 10th. 6'2.5", 210 pounds. Is considered the number 16 prospect in the state of South Carolina. The number 39 quarterback overall, but South Carolina sends out an offer after a camp performance for him. Yeah,
Cutter came on my radar during state championship season last year when they took West Side to the state championship. I don't think they won. They took them to the state championship, but that's not what was important. Early contender for beautiful head of hair. I don't know if he commits, but he might be in the mention. And the reason why we know he had this beautiful head of hair is because when Cutter took his helmet off, he had on a bonnet, and it sent the internet ablaze.
Oh, missed that.
It was a wonderful moment on a very niche part of Twitter, which is Gamecock recruiting high school football Twitter. Yeah. Shout out to you, Cutter. I don't know if you're still wearing the bonnet or if you've cut your hair since, but he was Twitter famous for a split second.
He does have the appearance of a young man who could step directly off of his surfboard at the beach, put on the pads, and throw for 300 yards.
Hey, what a name, like Cutter Woods? What?
So South Carolina putting out an offer to him. This is according to Andrew Ivins, who did a scouting report on him. You can check this out on 24/7 Sports. It says experienced pocket passer with a favorable build that excels at making at making all the throws, anticipating on connecting on timing-based routes, appears to process at advanced level for his age and will scan the whole field working through his progressions. That's just part of it right there.
He did win the state championship at Westwood, West Side. I just want you to see him wearing the bonnet there, which was amazing. And I'm going to be honest, I do not take that lightly as being a winner. I do count that as something that is very, very important in my recruiting process. Yes, make all the throws, run the 40, but some guys can do all of that and they never actually win. And I feel like if you are a guy who's going to play at the next level, you should probably, especially at quarterback, you should probably have won to some degree in high school.
What you bring up is an interesting topic that I had a lot of discussion on with Ryan Holinsky and Will Muschamp.
Who's in a quarterback battle right now.
Yeah. And what I come back to is Ryan Holinsky was this highly rated quarterback, but I remember someone saying, but his high school team went 5-6. And it was just an interesting concept, and to hear you as a player say the same thing, like, yeah, I mean, Connor Shaw, obviously probably the best quarterback to ever play at the University of South Carolina, was not a very highly rated quarterback, but he won at Flowery Branch, and he was a leader, did all those things, and then came to South Carolina and won. And I remember that, and I just, it's interesting to hear a player, to hear you talk about there does need to be a level of success that you kind of have at the high school level that carries over to your college career.
I think at the quarterback position, I think it matters. There's some other positions where you might not get a chance to affect the game as much, but in high school where the talent levels can be so far and wide apart, if you are that guy in high school, I'm not saying you have to win the state championship, even though that's better, but again, for Cutter to take his team to the team's first state championship on his back, on his arm, I do think that counts. Does that mean he's going to be good, great? I don't know, but it is something that if I was recruiting, I would pay extra attention to the guy that takes his team to winning.
And I do, we've kind of talked about it. I am really fascinated by how schools recruit the quarterback position now, because that is, again, a spot where you do have to, I think, have more than with any other position, a conversation about, hey, this is your exact role. You're coming here, but here's your role. Because, again, you look at it, and all of a sudden, guys can look around. Dante Reno, if Lenore Sellers is really good, obviously you've got Robbie Ashford, Davis Bevel. Those guys are running out of eligibility. If Lenore Sellers is really good this year, Dante Reno could easily look around and be like, not sure I'm beating him out for 3 years. I might want to transfer back up north. I might want to go somewhere else and give it a shot. And then all of a sudden you go from having a quarterback room with 3 or 4 guys to, oh, Lenore Sellers, you're the only guy. Now we got to go hit the transfer portal and land 2 or 3 guys who already know you're the guy.
Yeah.
And it felt like that was part of the issue this past year for South Carolina, trying to go into the transfer portal and land a quarterback, even though Lenore Sellers had not been named the starter, not even in the early spring, in the winter, after no bowl game. But it felt like that was a little bit of an issue because it was pretty well known Lenore Sellers was getting the job.
Yeah, he felt like the incumbent, like he was going to get the job. Best case scenario is that everybody stays in place. We got that. But hopefully this year he goes out and puts up the statistics, and now his game tape proves that he's the guy, and then maybe somebody would be more willing to take a subsidiary or a backup role behind somebody that they know is the guy. Now it's still very much up in the air. They think he has the skills. He think things are going to work out, but we don't know.
803-404-6100. It is time for some music reviewing.
Music review.
I'm interested. This is the one I'm most interested, or one of the first times I'm really interested, because Missy Elliott. That's what we're getting to today.
Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly, 1997.
That was right there in the high school phase. Missy Elliott was an interesting character, to say the least. Had some pretty good music, too. We'll look forward to what Preston's got coming up. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Hey guys, it's Preston for your broker, my broker, Benji Getzy at Buford Lending. Buford Lending is a true mortgage broker offering the widest variety of government mortgage programs and the best mortgage experience for clients through its state-of-the-art technology and record low interest rates. Their goal is to make your next mortgage experience and closing easier, cheaper, faster, and friendlier. Since 1997, Benji and his team have served thousands of investors with their dreams of real estate investing. Buford Lending specializes in DSCR loans and fix and flip financing. Benji and his team are VA, FHA, and USDA government loan experts and offer competitive jumbo financing as well as conventional and construction lending. Benji has helped over 8,000 families experience the dream of ownership. So they want to be your broker. So call Benji Getzy and the folks at Buford Lending today at 843-524-2404. That's 843-524-2404. Welcome back into the early game. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. That is Sock It To Me, Missy Elliott, 1997. Super Duper Fly, coming in at number 75 on Apple Radio's top 100 albums of forever right now. And I think it's important to note that. So this is 1997, Bill. What grade are you in 1997?
Probably 10th.
10th grade? 97, 10th grade?
99, 2000. So 90, 97, 98 would have been 10th grade. 97, 98, 99,
yeah.
99,
So
99.
this album comes out. I listened to the whole album, and this is my take on this Missy. I think in a way similar to Madonna. I don't think you get the full picture of their music without the visual experience. You have to have the whole experience in order to get the full picture of why this person was so impactful at the times that they were impactful. I don't think this particular album is a classic album as a whole, but it sends you down the rabbit trail of, oh, that's another Missy Elliott song. Oh, she had that one too. Oh man, I forgot about that one. This one too. And it's so fun. Is it R&B? Is it rap? What is it? She's making sounds. Is she wearing a plastic bag in this video? Now she's wearing a Metroid suit or something. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the video is a little interesting, is it not?
It's just all creative energy, which I think is what Missy is known for, and just this wide swath of pop music that she sort of just becomes a mainstay in popular culture.
So one other thing about this album is it really introduced me to the producer side of Timbaland, who I ended up was a huge fan of. I'll never forget, like, one time I was like, said it again in high school. I was like, man, I don't know why, you know, high school age, a little jealousy. Like, I don't know why I like those Justin Timberlake songs, but I really do like those Justin. Somebody's like, oh, it's because Timbaland produced. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
And this was one of those times that I learned because Timberland and Missy Elliott worked together, and it was the first time I think I really, again, you talk about kind of growing and understanding music better, was like, oh man, that guy really knows how to produce, because he was an executive producer on this album as well, and was credited with a lot of the tempo of the music and the genre of the music, and almost creating a different kind of music, if you will. I think I wanted to go back and get the exact word that they used to describe what it was, but it was a different, as you meant, it brings together, the breakdown says brings together hip-hop, dance, R&B, and electronic music and soul. They labeled it bump and grind electronica.
That works. Yeah, because there's a very specific sound between Timberland and Missy, where when you hear specific drums, or you hear those offbeat drum patterns, or you hear Missy making all these making these weird sounds, you're like, okay, this is weird. I like it. Never been anything before or since that has been like it. But yeah, a very, very esteemed writing duo as far as producing music, and they were already producing for other people. And I think the thing about Missy, which is really cool, is that she's not a traditional sex symbol. She's not somebody that you think would be this particular R&B star, starlet, but she gets through on her talent, her writing, and her singing, the actual core skills of what you would think would make somebody a superstar. So I would just challenge you, just go down, like I said, very much like Madonna, just go down that greatest hits list or whatever Spotify playlist you have, and just look at all these Missy songs. And even if you're not, this thing about this type of pop music, even if you don't consider yourself a fan, you'll be like, oh yeah, that one too. I forgot about that one. Or there was that one night down at 5 Points when they played this song tens of thousands of times. So yeah, big shout out to Missy. I do not think this album is a top 100 album. I will say, great songs. Do not think it's a top 100 album, but Missy is a top 100 artist.
You've got what you're listening to, which is, what is the official run to Apple's top 100?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Apple's top 100. But this album was actually, let me go back and get it. It was number 93. Here we go, 93 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling Stone put out their 500 greatest albums of all time, and this one was 93.
That's pretty tough.
And in 2022, they put out their 100 best debut albums of all time, and this was 53.
I could see that. Yeah, and this is her first album as a solo artist. But again, I think the best way to appreciate Missy is with the whole visual components, because all of these songs have really cool videos, really interesting things that are happening with her, and I think that's probably the best way to appreciate Missy. So this is really cool because it gives me a chance to listen to some music that I haven't listened to in a while, and hear some songs that I haven't heard in a while, and kind of rekindle that time. Got a great week of reviews this week.
Oh, who would know?
Great week of reviews this week. Jen, you asked for Steely Dan, you got it.
Outstanding. Which album?
Asia.
I figured.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll be doing that at some point this week. Trent Reznor, The Downward Spiral, 9 Inch Nails. For any of you techno junkies out there, hardcore, we will be going into that, which is an album I'm excited to listen to this week. And those are the two that I saw. I forget which days that they have. So we got a good music listening week this week.
Okay. All right. So we've got a lot to get to as it pertains to music.
But I would challenge you. Go ahead and go on that greatest hits of Missy. Just put it on, let it play. You'll be transported to a funner time. Always a lot of fun with Missy.
It drew. I'm just looking at the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. That's pretty strong. Spin, which was very popular with the culture, 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 5 stars out of 5 stars. The LA Times gave it 3.5 out of 4. It drew some strong reviews. Underrated, maybe. Maybe a bit of the underrated.
Ooh, first underrated. I like it. Great album, great artist, fun times. Appreciate you, Missy.
We'll get into some baseball discussion. Jamie Bradford will join us there in the next hour. We'll talk a little College World Series with him, but we'll also get into his thoughts as South Carolina officially has a baseball coach. We talked a lot about that last week. We'll talk about it again. You're listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner at Mid-State Roofing, they have been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. It is their work, their hard work, that is your assurance that your property, whatever it may be, whether it's commercial or residential, will have the correct way, the service, the results, everything you need that keeps both your operation dry and running long into the future. So again, whether it's high rises or hospitals, manufacturing or industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are ready to help you. Give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. That's how you can reach Mid-State Roofing. And again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you will speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee who's ready to help you with a maintenance contract. So if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Call them today, 803-356-1919.
And for your Monday morning, we see that there's an accident I-26 eastbound at exit 125. Outside of that, things really seem to be moving along okay on the highways. And we're looking for a high today of 91, same for tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, and then kind of continuing that low 90s trend into the weekend before then it starts to warm up once again. But right now, it's sunny and 74 on the early game.
7 a.m. as we get you up and get you going here as we really get into the summer stride. I was telling Preston off air back in the last hour, I was like, man, I'm kind of in that relaxed summer, full-on summer mode that people go into now.
I told you, it's peak summer. This 2 weeks between now and 4th of July. If you're a teacher out there, this is peak summer. This is going up the hill. 4th of July, you start peeking over there around the corner a little bit. But
okay.
This is summertime right now.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel the laziness.
Guess what? It's okay.
Good.
It's okay. That's why we have seasons. It's fine. You don't have to be 100% go all year.
And it to help guide us through programs. That's why we bring in Jamie Bradford, as we do, to just take over the full 7 to 8 o'clock hour. And Jamie, welcome back in. Thank you for making our job easier.
Oh, man, you know what? It is my pleasure to make sure that I carry this program every Monday morning for 1 hour. You got it.
We appreciate that. We appreciate the effort. Glad to have you, man. I know I missed you last week as I was out, but obviously a adventurous week. Entertaining is definitely a word. I don't know if adventurous would be a word you'd want to use, but certainly where we were. You know, it's interesting, Jamie, where we were 2 weeks ago. The last time I talked to you, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I might have talked to you on a Tuesday, actually, after Memorial Day, now that I think about it. We were waiting on the news on Mark Kingston, and it came a lot sooner than I kind of expected. It was the news I expected, but sooner than I expected. And now here we sit 2 weeks later. South Carolina's got a baseball coach, and it's not a name. It's not a name that was ever brought up or mentioned. It kind of came out of nowhere. And what are your overall thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, first of all, want to congratulate Mark Kingston. He has accepted the head coaching position at Creighton and has already landed on his feet. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Matt Williams, who has accepted the pitching coach position at Coastal Carolina. And congratulations to Joey Holcomb, who's accepted an assistant role down at South Florida. All three of those guys related to their duties, but they're getting on in other places. Those are three really good people, and they all have bright futures in college baseball. And who knows? Maybe Matt's back in Columbia one day. He is one hell of a pitching coach, I tell you what. So congrats to them. As far as South Carolina goes, I mean, that right there. That's typical Coach Tanner. I first got wind of this name early Monday, and of course was like, wait a second, that's got to be rumor, and that's kind of where I left it. And then of course this transpired on Monday afternoon, right? And that right there is Coach Tanner 101. When everybody else is out playing checkers, he's always got a hand to play in chess somewhere. Now, doesn't mean that every move you make always works out, but there's always something going on that Coach Tanner, he was really down in a bunker last week trying to make sure that he got this thing right, and I don't think he got it right. I think he got it damn right. And able to keep Coach Lee on with Paul Maneri is just an unbelievable way of doing things for this baseball program. So we'll see what happens, but it certainly feels like South Carolina baseball, the consistency they've been searching for, is going to be back under his leadership.
Preston and I played a lot of audio from last week, and we'll get into some of the Monty Lee stuff as well. But one thing that was kind of interesting in this, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it sounds like Ray Tanner didn't start this search with Paul Maneri on the list of candidates. It sounded like he went to Paul Maneri to vet candidates, and halfway through the conversation, Paul Maneri's name got into the list. Are you in agreement that that's probably how it played out, that Ray Tanner started without Maneri's name on the list, wanted to speak with him and pick his brain on a few guys on what he liked, only to learn, this guy might sound like he wants to coach again, and he's won a championship, and he's won a lot of games, and that would be a good fit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that, from the get-go, I mean, he was prepared for this search. Coach Tanner was prepared for this search. And so, the first thing that he wanted to do was go knock on the doors of the best coaches in the country and make his pitch, and let's see if it's a good fit. So here's the thing, like, anybody can just go out and buy a coach at any point in time. South Carolina was not going to be short on cash to go get a coach. They just proved that. Coach Maneri's getting $1.3 million, and then you can look at the rest of the assistant salaries. They are investing in the coaching staff here at South Carolina. So they can go get a name if they wanted to go get a name. But Coach Tanner was going to be very thorough with this and make sure that things were right on line. And, you know, so I don't – like, I think people were saying, well, you know, it was going to fall to this guy or it was going to fall. I wouldn't use the word fall here at all. Coach Tanner had a list of names. And in his head, he might have had 1A and 1B. But when you start having these conversations, names start moving around on that list. And that's how a good AD is going to do it. And he was going to be very thorough with this. So once he kind of got through all that and started figuring out the situations of everybody that he was interested in and that was interested in the program, and then having that conversation with Coach Maneri, you know, that's why you do that. You do your due diligence. You contact the people that you need to contact that you know are going to give you a good, honest assessment. And there's only so many ADs that can lure a guy like Paul Maneri, who's, I know he wants to coach again, but he has turned down some elite opportunities to do so. And he made it crystal clear last week why he's here, and that's because of Coach Ray Tanner. So, yeah, it seems to be how it happened, but it sure wouldn't have happened without the dude who's running the athletics department. If that dude wasn't sitting in that chair, they would have had no shot at getting this done.
We'll get into the assistants and where this program is at coming up in the next segment, but what do you expect Paul Maneri to bring to this program? That's the question. I'm not advanced enough to say, okay, this is his style. This is what he likes to do. This is what I can. I'll give you an example. Like with Will Muschamp, I felt like you'd see them play really good defense. With Steve Spurrier, I felt like you'd see a lot of points. I was wrong most of the time on both of those things. What do you expect from Paul Maneri to bring to this program that'll be kind of the foundational piece or the calling card?
What it takes to win in baseball: pitching, defense, and hitting in the clutch. I mean, that's who he is. You're going to play defense, you are going to pitch, and you're going to understand how to perform in pressure situations. And it's period at the end, or you can't play for Paul Maneri. And so you're going to get that. But most importantly, you're going to get a guy who's going to walk into the locker room, and he's going to tell these guys, you're good enough to be in Omaha, and we're going to go. Okay? And they're going to believe it, but he's going to back that up with how he conducts himself as the leader of the program. Every practice is going to be very similar to what Coach Tanner used to do. When you got 2 hours on the field, if you're on the field, you've maximized every second of that 2 hours. It's going to be a consistent program. They're going to conduct themselves in a class manner. The baseball gods will bite you if you don't. It's been proven around here, unfortunately, for the last few years from time to time, where you mouth off and you act like a jerk, you're going to get treated like one in this game. And that's going to disappear. It's going to be the days where you run on the field, you play well, you run off the field, and then you wake up tomorrow and you go do it again. And those are the best days at South Carolina. And it looks like there's a good chance they may be returning.
Jamie, you just made my little old heart smile just now. You talking guys running off the field, running on the field, fundamentals, wearing the uniforms right.
Two hands. Alligator hands over the.
Oh, man. I love it.
Hey, look, exactly, Preston. Like, look, I've gotten to know some of the guys on this club. There's great kids on this team. Great kids. I mean, great kids. Mark Kingston and Monty Lee and Matt Williams and Joey, and you can go back, obviously behind that, go back to Skylar Meade and give Mike Current and all these guys credit. They brought in a bunch of great kids into this program. But you get caught in the moment sometimes, and it's easy to. And you get caught in the moment. When you get caught in the moment, you get embarrassed in baseball. That's what happens, So you just have to you got to understand that as soon as you do something well, something's going to offset that at some point in time. And if you stay humble, you'll get rewarded more often than not. And I'm excited to see that return, and I know we got to get a break, but I'll just add this too. I've been saying this for weeks, and luckily Paul Maneri said it, so he's a head coach. Nobody needs to listen to me because what do I know? But they won 37 games, guys. Like, there's been people talking like they won 7 or 17 or 20. No. They went to the Supers last year. They went to the regionals this year. They've been postseason 3 of the last 4 years. They won 37 games. They're not like in a bunker somewhere, like trying to dig their way out. They just need a couple of things to get cleaned up. They need to tune up the car, put some tires on it, put some gas in that thing, give it a facelift. Get it back out on the road and get it running. And Paul Maneri made that clear last week. Like, these guys, they've got good players here, and they just got to add a couple more, and they're going to be fine. And I can't wait to see them play in the fall. It's going to be interesting.
He basically just echoed what I said. Oil change, just a quick oil change. Get that baby back out there. We'll continue on that. I do want to pick Jamie's brain about that roster that he just broke down a little bit and how guys can fit into next season, how the pitching kind of looks. Terry Rooney handling that now a little bit more. We'll get into all that. We'll get a good breakdown from Jamie as we do that. Maybe get his thoughts on the U.S. Open as well. If he would have made that putt that Rory missed, we all would have made it, right?
No.
Oh, Jamie, we'd all made it. It was basically a gimme. We'd all made it. Mm-hmm. Made it with my eyes closed. Yeah. Well, don't worry. Yeah. We'll get back into that too.
Rory.
803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game. What a phenomenal Father's Day it was yesterday, and it all started with a trip to Old Timey Meat Market where we picked up some great chicken, had a few steaks, absolutely delicious, and you know what? Maybe Father's Day's over, but that doesn't mean the fun stops at Old Timey Meat Market. You can go by there today, one of their 3 locations, St. Andrews Road in Irmo, the Lexington store, or the South Congaree store, and check out why they are the absolute best in the business. They want to provide you with a non-grocery store meat buying experience. The great folks at Old Timey Meat Market, they want to meet you. They want to know your name. They want to provide you with the best variety and grades of meat available, and that's exactly what Mr. Boyd Derrick did when he founded Old Timey Meat Market. So go by and visit one of the 3 locations, South Congaree, St. Andrews Road in Irmo, or the Lexington store. Get yourself a great steak. You got the NBA Finals tonight. Maybe pick up those Italian chicken skewers. You got more sports on later this week. Wherever it is, stop by Old Timey Meat Market. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Beach Festival Road near Spring Hill Road. There is an accident that has been reported there. Also, still working on I-26 eastbound at exit 125. 90s are pretty much the name of the game. Low 90s, that is. 91 today and tomorrow, 89 for Wednesday. Then we get back into the low 90s to round out the rest of the work week. But then it looks like we're going to get up a little bit warmer for the weekend. 94 on Saturday and kind of staying mid and starting to edge into the upper 90s for the weekend and into the start of next week. But 74 is our temperature right now on the early game.
Rolling along on a Monday morning, June the 17th here, as we are halfway through the month of June. Before you know it, we'll be having Jamie on Mondays to break down South Carolina and Old Dominion, or the Gamecocks and Kentucky in week 2. It's only how many days away, Preston Thorne? What do we got? Where are we at in our...
75 days until Old Dominion. 75 days until Old Dominion. We have 76 days until the Southern 500. 29 days until the official release of College Football 25.
Jamie, have you bought your copy of College Football 25?
No, I have not. I'm probably the only one that hasn't, I guess, but not yet. I will be. Not
okay.
Yet.
All right. Yeah, you got time. You got
29 days.
29 days. That's that is.
Unless you want to be like the rest of the slobs out there and wait till the 19th, which is the official hard copy release. You don't want to be like them.
I don't know. There is something about having the hard copy, though.
Yeah, there's something about having it first, too.
Yeah, there is that. And that'll be a Monday. That is, what do you said, 29? 29? Okay. All right. 28 days, I think. Might be 28. It should be 4 weeks from today. All right.
Okay.
There we go. 803-404-6100. Last week, and I forget what day, Jamie, but last week we estimated that South Carolina baseball will start on Valentine's Day 2025. That's about the time the season starts, that particular weekend. That particular Friday in 2025 will be a Valentine's, February the 14th. That will fall on a Friday. I think last week, one day, we had it at 245 days. I can't remember if that was Thursday or Friday that we had that. So we've even got that countdown going on. But the question will be, and you got to mention seeing this team in the fall, you're a better expert on it than we are. What is you said what I said last week? This thing will be expected. They will be expected to host a regional next year. They will be expected to be in contention for a super regional and to be discussed for getting to Omaha. That's what South Carolina baseball is. There's no taking a step back when you've made a super regional 2 years ago. This year, with 3 weeks left to go, we were talking about you possibly hosting a regional, possibly being a national seed. Obviously, didn't play out that way. But when Jamie Bradford looks at this roster and looks at the pitching, what do you see both that you are excited to see come back, but also the holes that must be filled?
Well, they've got some excellent young arms, and now that Eli Jersenbeck is going to return, that adds big time. And so, you're going to look for some experience in the portal. I know that they're looking for that now. And I know that they've got some names that are on the table, and we'll probably hear something soon, I would imagine. So that group that pitched this year, those young guys, that's going to be the base of this thing. I mean, I'm anticipating that Eli Jones is going to sign. I guess there's no guarantee there necessarily, but I'm anticipating that he will. It'd be awesome if he was back, but whatever's best for him. And then you've got some elite arms that are in that are in this recruiting class, and you don't want to put a bunch on freshmen too young, but if you start to, or too early, but if you start to look around the SEC, you'll find all the great teams, they do have a young arm or two that really end up playing a big time role, and they feel like they've got a couple of those guys there. As far as the as far as the roster goes, I mean, just look what Monty's been doing the last, week plus. I mean, he's just they just don't make a lot of them like they make Monty Lee. They really don't. The guy works his rear end off. He's such a great guy. He's one of the best coaches I've ever been around. He's phenomenal. Guys like Justin Smoke will tell you, if it wasn't for him, I would have never been where I was. And here's this guy going out and doing what he was doing with all the uncertainty in the future, and he's signing elite players in the portal. And so, when you look at the infield, like, there's some holes there. I don't know if they're holes or if they just need to be developed, but certainly it's South Carolina, guys. I mean, you look at the tradition of this program. Sol Messina this year carried that flag for the catching position, but everywhere else, it was tough. There's always been great shortstops at South Carolina, offensively and defensively, and Will Tippett's got to get it going. They got to get a second baseman in there who can swing it a little bit better. They've got to have power on the corners. I mean, that's just got to change, and it's got to be consistent power. So those are things that they're going to recruit to. I know that they are, and luckily we're early in June still, so they've got plenty of time to get it going.
Focus in for a second. You mentioned young arms, and you mentioned Jersenbach coming back from surgery last year. Jake McCoy was the guy that I liked a lot at times. Is there a few others specifically that you're like, all right, that guy needs to have a good fall to set himself up to be a major contributor when we get to the spring?
Well, y'all did see Tyler Pitzer pitch this year, didn't you?
Yep, Pitzer was another good one.
This kid's good. Tyler Pitzer is really, really good. Parker Marlott is really, really good. Got great stuff, and really excited to see him pitch. Eddie Copper, goes down with the injury. He's expected to be back and be healthy later in the fall. Really, really good arm who had earned some quality playing time. But then, look, on top of that, I mean, you've got other guys who are expected to return next year as well, that like Matthew Becker. I mean, Matthew Becker's been around a while, and Matthew Becker has a lot of talent, and he is going. I mean, if you're a senior lefty who's thrown significant innings since your freshman year, like, you're going to be expected to perform big time. So he has to perform, and I think he will perform. He's got great stuff. So they've got a lot, to kind of build this around. But the freshmen, you mentioned McCoy, who, if I had to guess today, as long as Jersenbach is healthy, which again he's expected to return now, and I think he's going to be 100% healthy here pretty soon. If I had to guess today, and this is all so speculative, no one should write anything down because they could sign an elite guy in the portal that changes all this. But I would say that Jake McCoy and Eli Jersenbach and Tyler Pitzer have the leg up to be your rotation next year. All those guys have elite stuff, and that would be an outstanding rotation. Now, if Jones returns, or if Roman Kimball really develops, because they need Roman Kimball to really, really develop, or if Matthew Becker really, really develops and gets where he wants to go, obviously that can throw a wrench in all this. But from a stuff standpoint and predicting the future, I would think those three guys have as good a shot as any.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I know it was over the weekend. I saw it yesterday. But South Carolina, by the way, picking up a player out of the transfer portal, Dalton Mashore, committing to South Carolina from St. Mary's out on the West Coast. Last season hit .338, 17 doubles, 4 triples, 13 home runs. Had 29 walks and 52 strikeouts. That's a guy you talk about going into next season that'll be expected to contribute. He has 1 year of eligibility left, so you're adding experience, but you're also adding a guy, Jamie, that comes in. South Carolina also did land a junior college player, Caden Gaskin, the end of last week. So 2 guys you talk about trying to fill a few holes, and Mashore and Gaskin, 2 guys that can do that.
Yeah, for sure. And the Mashore kid, that's a Monty connection. Monty and his dad are friends, know each other through the Dodgers organization. The kid out of JUCO is they're trying to add a couple of those kids. I can tell you right now, the strikeout numbers that you we've seen over the last few years here, those are coming down. You're not just going to run up there and leave the bat on your shoulders with pulmonary, or you won't play. So they're going to swing the bat, and they're going to make contact. They're going to put pressure on the defense, and they're going to sign guys that can do that.
803-404-6100 if you want to text in this morning. We will get into a little U.S. Open discussion. Preston asked, did Bryson DeChambeau win it, or did Rory lose it? We'll get Jamie's opinion on that, talk a little bit about that. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. Monday morning, it's Jamie Bradford. It's the early game.
Preston here, and it's time to get yourself ready. We're deep in the middle of the summer, which means there's no better time to get your outdoor setup ready with the good folks at Integrated Media. You want to get Samsung Terrace TVs, waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, or Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Now is the perfect time to have yourself set up for the big football season that's coming. You could also get my personal favorite, which is controlling all your devices from just one remote. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security system from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
Highway 321 at I-26, we have a report of an accident there. Also, Peach Festival Road near Spring Hill Road. And also getting things cleaned up there at I-26 eastbound at exit 125. A couple reports of maybe some fog in Lexington County, so just be aware of that as well. 91 for today and tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, low 90s for the remainder of the week. It's 74 right now on the early game.
A lot to unpack from yesterday, and we've talked a lot of baseball, obviously, the last few shows. But yesterday, the U.S. Open, number one, all three of us are fathers. It was great being around the kids yesterday and everything, and they sat there and watched the golf with me. But the PGA yesterday, U.S. Open, it got what it needed. Now, I don't think they'll be able to sustain it. You're going to go back to the LIV and everything else, and we'll get the Open next month. But it yesterday was a lot of fun, and you had two guys who, quite frankly, are polarizing. You had LIV versus PGA. It was really everything you could ask for, Jamie and Preston. But Preston asked to open the show. What do you go with, Jamie? Did Bryson DeChambeau win it, or did Rory blow it?
We don't want to hear Jamie, we don't want to hear any of your nuance, any of your rational takes. It's hot take central right here. Win or lose, what you got?
Now Bryson won it.
There we go.
He won it. Look, I know Rory missed the putt, but DeChambeau, after that horrible tee shot on 18, and the second one that he just kind of flung across, I think he knew it was going to get into the bunker as long as it landed in the center of the bunker. He made a nice – I mean, he did what he needed to do to not cough it. And remember, Rory, the best he could do really was tie the round to get into a two-hole playoff. And now he did miss a 3-foot, 10-inch putt that none of us would have hit. I will stand on it. You want a bold take there? None of y'all were going to hit that putt. Now all those people watching, that thing, all the break that was in it, no chance. If you want to talk about where did Rory lose it, I wouldn't go to the last hole. He missed a putt that was a little bit easier. I think 2 holes before that, 2 or 3 holes before that. What was that?
16.
15 or
16.
16. Yeah, because he hadn't missed a putt in under 5 feet, I think, all week, and then he missed 2 in the last 3 holes. So, but DeChambeau still had to play well to win it, so he won it. Congratulations to Bryson, who had a hell of a celebration before Pavone could even tap in.
Yeah, I'm not sure I had seen that before where, normally to your point, and Preston, I don't know if you know this, normally when it's like that, what they'll do is they will allow the other guy to finish out so that the putt DeChambeau hit is the final putt of the tournament, and you can celebrate. And remember, the other guy's putting for money here. Missed that putt or something goes wrong, but you're right. It was interesting. Now you go to the next part. All right, Rory McIlroy. What do we make of the way he left the course? You go, okay, that's fine, or no, you've got to deal with. You make a lot of money. You're very popular. You're the face of the tour. You got to deal with the press.
Yeah. He probably should have stuck around and faced the music there. I'll give him some grace because I know that his personal life, he's had a lot going on, and I think he, 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes in the 4th round yesterday. That's tough, but you got to face the music, man. I mean, you have to face it. Think about all these years that Tiger has faced the music for things that had nothing to do with golf, but he sat there and took it. You got to sit there and take it. And nobody's going to pin him in a corner. He was frustrated with himself, but it's part of being a pro. You gotta stand up and talk, and he didn't do it.
What is going to be now? McIlroy can go on and win more majors, and I feel certain somewhere along the line he's going to win one. Last year he had a great opportunity there at the Open Championship, couldn't quite get it done this year. Obviously he's had this chance. He's only 35. He's not an old guy. It goes back to Preston's old conversation. He is a young guy. He will win another one, but do we now start to change our perception of him a little bit, or do you just say, oh, he's a good golfer, but now it's choke in crunch time?
So this is a good question, Bill, because obviously as a casual, I'm watching it, and I don't know all of the backstory with Rory. Is this something that he has a tendency to do, or is this the start of something? Where does this fall sort of in his career arc?
Jamie, I'll let you answer that first, and then I'll kind of come back on that.
What do you mean? What is something that he does? Like
as far
like that,
as far as losing matches towards the end, or not being able to finish, or things of that nature.
Oh yeah, I mean I'd say, I mean, Bill, he's certainly had his moments, where you're like, oh gosh, a putt here or there. I mean, I think you're talking about a handful of turns in his career that take him from one of the best golfers of this generation to one of the best golfers of all time. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay. What do you think? I mean, Bill might differ with me, but I think you're talking because he's won 4 majors, right, guys?
Yeah, correct.
4. Correct. Okay. So you're talking about, what if he's won 7? You see what I'm saying?
Preston brought it up, and here's what the in the moment thought I have. It's becoming a little bit too similar. Now it's reversed. It's reversed. Phil Mickelson won majors later in his career. It was early in his career that he was blowing them. If you remember that, Jamie, it was early. I'm trying to think, there was a particular U.S. Open, I think, where I think he tried to hit a driver on 18 and knocked it over into a sponsor's tent or something. I can't remember what year that was, and I can't remember which course it was. But Mickelson, early in his career, when the moment came, it did feel like he would choke. And McIlroy came out of the gate so hot, winning 4 majors in 3 years. I remember I was at Kiowa I believe that was the 2014, might have been 2012. But I was at Kiowa when he won down there and won a PGA championship. He has a U.S. Open in 2011 and obviously, again, the Open or the British Open in 2014, and he's got 2 PGAs. He's never been able to get the Masters, which is what comes up every year when we go to Augusta and they talk about him winning the career.
He's going to get one, though.
And I'm with you. Again, as we mentioned, he just turned 35 back on May the 4th. It feels like he's been around for 25 years, which – to an extent, he's been around for almost 20 years because he burst on the scene so early. But it does feel like now, after watching him last year get chased down by Cam Smith at the Open when they were at I think that was last year. I got to go back and think again. But
last year,
yeah, and it just feels like he's getting into these moments. And Preston, you've played high level sports. Jamie, you guys are familiar. When you get into a sport like that where mentally it gets difficult and you start thinking back to missed small putts or little mistakes you've made, I feel like that's what's happening to him.
Well, that's the thing I always commend golfers for, because it's 100% a mind game. In a lot of other sports, baseball, football, you can do a lot of reaction, which can take you out of your mind. You don't have to actually think. You can go on autopilot and just trust your training, all of the cliches. But as Jamie said, when you're standing at that break and you have to make this putt and it's just you, that is a skill that is very difficult. And so, to your point, Bill, do those things start coming up in his mind a little bit more as he inevitably will have more of those opportunities?
Yeah, and by the way, I was wrong on that. Thank you, Steve, for when it was the 2022 championship. Last year was Brian Harmon at the Open. So, but that's to me, to me, there is getting to be something there with Rory. Not that he doesn't care about regular regular tournaments, but these guys, I mean, this is Brooks Koepka basically was the guy who was honest about, like, man, I don't care about those other things. I only care about winning majors. That's how my career is defined. I have to win majors. Rory right now is edging toward us for completely forgetting about all these majors he's won, the 4 of them, and being known more for what transpired with him trying to take a stand against Liv, and then also now missing several opportunities that he's had here of late to add on to his major resume.
Agreed. But he's consistent enough to where he's going to win. Like you can't convince me that Rory McIlroy's done winning majors. Like he's going to think about this. You're talking about a couple of shots here or there where he would have 7 majors, right? And if he had 7, he'd be tied with Palmer. He'd be tied with Bobby Jones. He'd be right behind. I think Watson has 8. I'm pretty sure. So he'd be one of the greatest golfers of all time. So you just think about the right course, the right day, where it's not that 1 or 2 shots. He's got a 3 or 4 shot lead. It's going to happen. It's going to happen for Rory. He plays consistent enough golf to where it's going to happen. It just hasn't in a couple of instances over the years. And I'll throw this to, and I know we got to get a break, but I'll throw this. Here's your summer sporty, whatever y'all call it.
Sports type
talk. Yeah. All right. At one point in time, you talk about unbreakable records. Like I think the South Carolina 22 straight in the postseason for baseball was probably unbreakable, at least in our lifetime. At one point in time, it was inevitable that Jack Nicklaus's 18 majors was going down because of a guy named Tiger Woods. Is that record ever going to get broken?
I don't know. We'll hit it. We'll get into that a little bit.
Good tease. It won't be by Tiger, I'll tell you that much.
We'll get into that when we wrap things up here. Jamie Bradford joining us. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. You know those summer thunderstorms are on the way. We're going to have those days, those nights where you get the heavy rains, high winds, even a little bit of hail. And is your roof ready to handle it? If not, it's time to call Mid-State Roofing, because for nearly 30 years, they've been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are ready to help you with a maintenance contract. You either speak with an on-call technician or with a Mid-State Roofing employee. It doesn't matter what time you call. If you've got a leak, you need to let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. So give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can check them out online as well, midstateroofing.com. But whether you're speaking with an on-call technician or with a Mid-State Roofing employee, the key is to get yourself in a proper maintenance contract to have that roof ready for those summer thunderstorms. That phone number again, 803-356-1919. Call Mid-State Roofing today. Wrapping it up. Real quick, Jamie, DJ asks to you if you know anything about the Jordan Carrion situation. I believe he was the transfer from Florida State that was ruled ineligible for this year for South Carolina baseball. I believe he was a second baseman, if I'm thinking correctly. Is he still on the team? Or?
Yes, he is. He'll be in the mix as long as he's not in the portal. But it looks like all is good right now on the portal front for Gamecock baseball as far as players exiting the program. He's a really good defender. He probably needs to pick it up a little bit offensively, but he'll be in the mix, no doubt.
Okay, there you go. So a little thank you, DJ, for weighing in, and there's your answer on that. 803-404-6100 if you want to text in as well. A couple of y'all. Richard saying, I don't agree with this. Richard saying he thinks DeChambeau will push that 18 major record. Richard says he seemed to mature a lot and figure out what he wants to do with his body and seems more locked in than other golfers. Says, I can see him going on a run, winning all 4 in one season, especially if Liv and PGA figure it out so they can merge. I don't.
Where is he now?
2.
That's a long.
The strong take, by the way.
I mean, okay, that's just a long walk to 18, and as you know, life can happen in between.
Jamie, you got? Would you go with that on DeChambeau, or would you go with somebody else, an up and comer?
I'm not putting my money in Bryson's basket. I can tell you that. I mean, I don't know. That's why I said what I said. I don't think there's anybody that's going to challenge that. I mean, dude, think about how level the playing field it is right now. Tiger couldn't get there. If Tiger couldn't get there, who's going to get there?
It wouldn't shock
me. You know what I mean?
Well, I think 2 things, and both can be true. I think, number one, Tiger changed the game because he got more people invested in the game. So I do agree. I think Preston, you said a level playing field, but I think there is more competition. There obviously has been times where there's been a lot of really, really good golfers, but Tiger had guys like Rory McIlroy that obviously Rory, we know this. We know the friendship that he and Tiger have, and that Rory looked up to him and has sought him out for advice. I do wonder, though, if it is such since there's more competition in majors. Remember, we're not talking about winning tournaments. We're talking about winning majors where you're going to get everybody playing together. And this tournament, John Rahm will figure things out, by the way. John Rahm is another guy who will come back into the mix at some point and kind of figure out whatever's going on with him this year, whether he's not been playing enough golf or his focus has shifted elsewhere. I'm not sure. But I just look at it, and I'm kind of with you guys as to saying it's going to be really, really hard to get to 18. But I do think somebody will put themselves in contention, and I just don't know who it's going to be. I would actually probably go more with a Brooks Koepka if he can get his mind right and refocus on golf.
Well, maybe, but Brooks might want to try to, win something other than the Open and the PGA Championship. Like, he doesn't play consistent enough in the majors. You got to play consistent golf to win a bunch of majors. And I don't think that the sport has that right now with any – as great as all these players are, none of them are consistent enough golfers at that level to win that many majors.
Just looking at the list, obviously Tiger Woods is second with 15. Phil Mickelson is on this list with 6. But I want to say it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say this properly. I'm going to go say active players or players that we think could challenge that list. Guys who are a little bit younger. The next guy behind Woods and Mickelson is indeed Brooks Koepka, who has 5. Now, again, McIlroy has 4. We just talked about a guy like DeChambeau who's got 2. But interesting, and I'll be interested. Go ahead. You got to win. You got to win them when you're young too, guys. As you know, you can't turn it on when you're 40. Like, that's not the way that's going to work. Remember how many majors Tiger won when he was young? And that's why it was inevitable he was going to break the record. All these guys that are really good golfers, like, they won 2, they won 3, they won 4. But when they're 35 and 40, they're not just going to start winning 10 out of the next 15 majors. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I just telling you, this is one of those records. It ain't breaking. Not in my lifetime. How old am I? I'm almost 40. So whenever I'm dead in the next 40 or 50 years, that record's still going to be standing there. That's my guess today. How about that? Nice.
Nice take.
Good. Give us one more before we let you out. Give us one more hot take. Have you gotten? You're a baseball guy. Have you gotten into the College World Series much this weekend?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh,
this is fantastic. This is unbelievable. It is one of the best events in the world, man. And these guys this year are just killing it. I mean, I really wish things were a little bit different, where it wasn't all ACC, SEC. That's a conversation for another day. But it's been phenomenal. And I hope everybody's tuned in watching it. My pick a couple months ago was I thought this would be the year for the first time since 1999. The number one overall seed wins it, and the Tennessee Volunteers look like they've got a good shot to do it. So that'd be the first time in 25 years that the number one seed wins the whole shebang.
Miami.
So we'll see.
Miami
in 1999. Jim Morris. And then
go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Sure, show.
Real quick. Just we had a text in from Gamecock fan just asking your feeling on Carson Messina, if he's going to make it to Carolina.
Unlikely, but you never know in today's world. You never know.
Gotcha. 803-404-6100. Jamie, we always appreciate you stopping by. A lot of hot takes. We drew some hot takes out of them today.
You got it. And Cocky, if you're listening, happy National Mascot Day to the best mascot in America, Cocky.
Oh, okay. National Mascot Day. We'll catch up with you next week, buddy.
Appreciate it, Jamie.
See you guys.
Hour 3 on the way. Yeah, I didn't see your text. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. You heard us talking about it. The summer is indeed here, and that means using that backyard pool. And if it's dirty, if it's got algae in it, well, that's no fun. People don't want to come and hang out in a dirty pool. You need to call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today. It is the summertime, and it's time to use that pool, but you need someone maintaining it. And at Corley Pool Solutions, they believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. Give them a phone call. Line up your summer maintenance today. 803-445-8109. Again, do you know how to handle the algae in your pool? Probably not. But the pool guru, Tracy Corley, does, and he will have his team out there, and they will make it look sparkling. So call and get that maintenance lined up today. 803-445-8109. They have flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. That's right, flat rate pricing. You know exactly what you're paying for. So call Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109.
And out there on the highways this morning, do have a couple of reports of maybe some patchy dense fog in Lexington County. I-26 eastbound after exit 97, an accident there. Also, Peach Festival Road near Spring Hill Road getting cleaned up. And Highway 321 at I-26, also a bit of a slowdown. And we are looking for sunny skies today. Going to be hot. Not really seeing a lot of rain in the forecast right now. 91 today and tomorrow, 89 Wednesday. Low 90s get us through the rest of the week. And we could see mid-90s for the weekend and to start the following week. Right now, 75 on the early game.
Final hour on a Monday morning as we all kind of start to hit some vacation time, much like y'all. I'll be out tomorrow. We'll all be out Wednesday. Jen will be out Thursday and Friday. Preston will be out a little bit on Thursday. All kinds of vacation time now. Those are personal countdowns we all have going, right?
Yeah, people are leaving, going here, there, but it's summertime.
Yeah,
I have a wedding to go to, and it's Darren's nephew. I like the bride. The groom, he's kind of a pain in the butt, but, it'll be fun. I'll hang out with family and stuff, I guess. But I'd kind of rather stay here.
Aunt Jen showing up to bring.
Trust me, it is the majority of people who understand this kid. Yeah. Anyway, but it'll be okay. Be nice to, like I said, see family for a few days.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, all right. Well, we that's kind of the schedule again. I'll be out tomorrow. We're all out on Wednesday. Thursday, Preston will be, I think it might be in just a little bit, and then you got to leave, and Jen's out. And Friday, Preston and I will be out at Liberty on the Lake for the Lake Murray Power Boat Run. We were out there last year with Brett Lasso and his team. A lot of great people involved in that. We'll be speaking with Leon Lott out there. We'll be speaking with several other people. And then afterwards, last year, we hopped on one of the power boats and did a high speed out to Baum Island, to which Preston wanted to make a music video, speaking of albums of Notorious B.I.G. and the Hypnotized song.
No, I felt like I was in the video, and the only way that instead of saying my Hail Marys and Our Fathers, I was just singing the Hypnotized lyrics to help me get through that experience.
I look forward to it.
It was very fast.
We will be out there and hanging out. It's a really cool event, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer to it this coming Friday. So 803-404-6100. Been talking, obviously, U.S. Open. So I'll bring this back up. Did yesterday kind of change your opinion of Rory McIlroy? Is he a sore loser? What makes for a sore loser?
Okay, there's a couple of different questions. Is he a sore loser? I don't know. Was he a coward yesterday? Yes. Because regardless of what happens, your job and responsibility as part of the program, as part of being a pro, is to stay and answer the questions about your performance. He wasn't going to skate out of there if he would have won yesterday. So the only reason he left yesterday is because he fell apart and couldn't hit those putts. It happens, but that's why you can't get this without that. This being all of the money that you get, Rory. You can't get that without taking some harmless. There was no reporters that were going to do anything to them. All they were going to do is ask him questions, in which he could have gave some milquetoast answer. There would have been no problem. Stay and answer the questions. It's real simple.
So does that make it if you do it once, do you instantly get hit with the sore loser label, or does it take a little bit of a pattern?
So if this is not a pattern, we're just going to say, do it one time. That was not a good look. Don't do it again. But if it becomes a pattern, then that's unacceptable.
Because with Rory and how this is kind of played, again, it's really interesting how others, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100, how you choose to look at his legacy, because he's young. And I'm with Jamie Bradford on this. Rory McIlroy will win. I'll go on record and say 2 more majors. I hope we get to do this show for 10 years. And 10 years from now, Rory McIlroy, who at that point will be 45, has won 2 more majors. If you keep giving yourself opportunities, you're going to stumble into one, right?
I assume so, yeah. But that would put him at 6.
Yeah, this isn't about challenging. Tiger Woods or anything. It's about just putting your name up there with the golfing greats. Maybe not as the greatest, but putting your name up there. It's kind of like you brought up one time, could you play your way out of the Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you get off to a super hot start early in your career and you win 4 majors, or just, I'm being very hypothetical here. Well, we used Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, what? 1 Super 2? 1, 2? Didn't get the other one, obviously. But what's Russell? It's
a long time ago.
Exactly. And so 803-404-6100, if you've kind of gotten more into golf lately, your mindset of Rory McIlroy is the guy who can't quite get it done in majors, the guy who took a massive stand against Live Golf, and that blew up completely in his face, and that probably might not necessarily have been his mistake, but that is a reputation piece that he has now with him. And now you've got this. And if you only win 4 majors, even though that puts you in the upper percentage of people who've won majors, if you do them early in your career, but then you fade out afterwards, what does that make you?
Yeah, because the reason why everybody's so excited about you doing them early is because, as Jamie pointed out, we all project that he's going to keep doing it. But I'm here to say, he's not going to get better. It's not going to get easier. He's not going to get healthier as he ages. Right? We in agreement on that. So, yeah, he needs to start winning them and taking advantage of opportunities that he does have when he has them.
Again, I like Rory. I was pulling for him yesterday. Then I kind of started liking Bryson DeChambeau and how it was a very wild, like, DeChambeau has been a guy who I think I don't know what others would say, but I would say has been polarizing because he's been a bit of a whiner. He's been immature on the course at times. I know people who have interacted with him at the Heritage back when he was on the PGA, who've interacted with him, who've had some bad experiences just being around him. I also believe you can change, and it seems like he is a guy who's changing. He was very much into the crowd this weekend. I really enjoyed him yesterday on 18, kind of playing up to the crowd and getting them to be a part of that in a different way. Now, I did wonder this yesterday, if being on that Live Tour where it's
sparse.
Well, it's sparse, but you've got the music playing, you're wearing the shorts. The Live Golf Tour is what we would expect, right? You go out. I know they don't have the carts out there. I don't think they have carts on Live. I could be wrong about that, actually. I watched 3 holes of one day, but it's more of a party feel where the PGA and most of these majors, unless you're at the Waste Management or unless you're down in unless you're down in Hilton Head, it's kind of stuffy, if you will.
Golf claps.
Good jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, everybody. Yeah, it gets a little rowdy from time to time, but I felt like he was trying to bring some of that yesterday and be like, all right, come on, guys, let's get fired up here.
Man, also there were people there because when he plays at Live, there's not very many people there. So he's playing to a crowd because there's actually is a crowd. And maybe he did take some umbrage with the idea like, hey, these people want to see me golf. I mean, obviously I'm making a lot of money, but it's cool to perform in front of people. And so, and he did, and he performed really well.
Jacob weighing in says PGA Tour has a problem when the most popular polarizing players play on the Live Tour. Jacob saying he's turned into a DeChambeau fan. I think some of those guys are polarizing because they went to Live and took money, and then we kind of questioned them. I don't know if they initially were. I mean, John Rahm was never, to me, a polarizing golfer, and I don't know if he still is. He's over there. Sergio, maybe if people, I don't know. Sergio was a different guy. You know, we always thought Sergio and Tiger would develop.
That's the perfect person. Sergio. he's going to be here. He's going to be the rival. He's next. And it never, I mean, he's fine, but it never really happened. And the only reason why we was thinking all that is because he won a little bit when he was young. He was flashy. He was cool. But now Sergio's he's kind of like, all right, there's Sergio. And he's sort of settled into who he's supposed to be. And I wonder if Rory's on that same track as Sergio. It's like, yeah, it was a flash. It was cool. Thought it was going to be bigger than it was. And maybe he'll just settle into being a very good golfer. Great for his generation, but Jamie pointed out, maybe not a generational type of guy.
Well, you've got these younger guys, and there's a big group of them, but I'll throw another one out, and I don't know what people's opinion is of him. I'm interested. 803-404-6100, a guy who's got 3 majors who did it and was just red hot, is Jordan Spieth. And Jordan Spieth has not won a major since the 2017 Open Championship. And he's got 3, but he's not really been in contention, if you will, over the last 7 years to win another one. You do have this group, and this kind of goes back to why I agree with both you and Jamie that I don't think you'll see anybody challenge Tiger and Jack, but why I think a name will occur. You've got a group of young golfers that all have 2 majors: Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Jon Rahm, Scottie Scheffler, and Bryson DeChambeau. Younger than Rory golfers that all have 2 majors. And I feel like out of that group, you could see one of them get hot. Could be DeChambeau, could be Scottie Scheffler, who we know has been playing well, get hot and pick up 3 or 4 over a 2-year span and jump up to 6. And then you're going, oh, they're not even 30 yet. What can they do over the next 10 years?
They surpassed what we thought Rory was going to be.
Yeah, so interesting yesterday. We'll get into a little bit more of that as we go through the hour. Thorns, buds, and roses do up. I tell you what, let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines real quick. Barron wants to weigh in on the U.S. Open. Barron, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
All right, quick. Let me just say I was disappointed that McIlroy won $2 million and just turned his head and left right quick. He should have been a man and go out and congratulate DeChambeau. And I know he's got some personal problems in his life. We don't know what's happening back in the background, but he had to leave so quick. But let me say this. I don't think he'll ever win a major because you got the talent is deep. I mean, when Tiger was playing, it was nothing like the deepness of the talent, right? Tiger is hitting as far and as good as he's ever hit. But you got deep talent. And look at Scheffler. No one has ever won 5 by Memorial Day. Scheffler just did that. He's won more money this year than any golfer has ever won in a year. Think about that. He's already won more money this year than any golfer has ever won in an entire year. That includes Tiger and all he's got. But the talent is so deep, and it's not getting shallow. It's getting deeper. And I think the next 4 years, Scheffler is going to control these majors. He didn't this week because he hates that golf course, but he's going to control golf almost. If somebody rises up and that's a really good golfer, this guy, he's phenomenal. Anyway, I congratulate DeChambeau. I was glad to see he kind of changed his personality and enjoying the audience, and all the ladies are trying to get photos of him. And anyway, he's really very popular. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the phone call, Barron. I will say golf both is in a good place and is in a bad place. And I tell you it's in a good place because Barron's telling us about Scottie Scheffler. Hugh weighs in on our text line and says Rory is the best golfer currently playing in the world. Richard has put his vote in for Bryson DeChambeau is the best golfer out there. Again, some people would indeed say Scottie Scheffler. So golf actually has a good thing going in that there is a lot of competition. The bad thing is this split with the PGA and LIV, they've got to get it fixed because I do think it's turning people away from the sport. And also one other point to make, one of the reasons Scottie Scheffler has won more money, he's won a lot, and that's important, obviously. But they've raised the purses there for them to win it. The money in that tour is not the same as it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago when Tiger was rolling through with no problem at all. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll get into a little bit of Thorns, Buds, and Roses. See where Preston Thorne takes us today. You're listening to the early game.
Got chronic joint pain, not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. I'm talking about new and advanced regenerative medicines that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your bad joints, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. There's an all-natural way to use highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to give you lasting relief. So if you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, or shoulder pain, just don't think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new regenerative options that can change your life. So call QC Kinetics now. Call 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860. Again, 803-281-6860. Press here, let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. Yes, they will come out to where you are and give you a free quote for any job. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out there and take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Out there on the highways this morning, we are seeing just a couple tie-ups. 321 at I-26. Also getting things cleaned up, Peach Festival Road near Spring Hill Road. I-26 eastbound after exit 97, a slowdown there due to an earlier tie-up. 91 today and tomorrow, 89 tomorrow, and 90 on Thursday. Not really seeing much rain in the forecast as of right now. We're warming up. It's 77 right now, kind of overcast on the early game.
8:19. All right, just flipped over to 8:20. 8:20 as we get you up and get you going here on a June the 17th and get you halfway through the month of June. Before you know it, 4th of July weekend will be here. Don't wish away the summer. I'm doing a good job so far, by the way, Preston. I know we've got our countdowns going on. By the way, I think Jen lined it up for us last year. I was out, but Phil Still, I believe his magazine hits the stands this week. I believe the early editions got mailed out over the weekend, so it's almost that time you can go. You probably can already go to your local bookstore or grocery store and pick up the Athlons and the Phil Stills, and there's your summer reading. Start getting ready for football season. But I'm trying not to wish away the summer.
Don't do it. It'll take care of itself.
Yeah,
it'll take care of itself.
Trying to enjoy it the most.
And this is peak summertime right here. These 2 weeks between now and the 4th of July. After the 4th of July, things get a little bit. You can't help but look around the corner a little bit.
Well, we had, and this past weekend, good sporting weekend. Last week, we had lots of interesting stuff. Why don't you talk about it with some Thorns, Buds, and Roses?
Sounds good. I'm ready to go.
It's time for Thorns, Buds, and Roses with Preston Thorn on the early game. 107.5 The Game.
Well, Bill, we're back. Thorns, Buds, and Roses. It's a repeat, a rerun. We all like reruns, don't we?
Sure.
Summertime, yeah. It's summertime. You're familiar with them. You can just put it on. You can just see what it's going. Well, we've got a repeat that's been happening all again. You know what that repeat is? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Back in the news once again. Here we go. Round it up one more time. Play that good old song that we know. Bill, I've stated it over and over again. I was here first. I'm staking this claim. You national media pundits will not take this take from me. I told you all this 2 years ago. But here's the deal. Yes, there was a basketball game. Yes, there was a foul. Yes, the foul was labeled flagrant 1, which is not even the worst of the flagrants.
No.
Very, very clearly, want to make sure everybody understands this. A flagrant foul is about the severity of the foul, not the intentionality of the foul. It's not an intentional foul. It can be intentional, but it doesn't have to be intentional. There was a foul. It happened. The game played on. Several other women hit the floor throughout that game. Most people are guilty, like everybody else, of not watching the game, seeing one clip, thinking the game was again. We've had this story over and over and over again. Well, let's just say, let's let women compete. That being said, Buds, the Fever. Everybody was talking about, they're starting to come along.
Yep.
They're starting to play well. I think this is the vision that people had when they was playing. Caitlin Clark last game had 23 points, 9 assists, 8 boards. She's starting to play as the complete player that she is. Aaliyah Boston, 19 points, 14 assists.
Yeah, she was assisting quite a bit yesterday.
14 rebounds and assists. It's starting to happen. I think Aaliyah might have came into the season a little bit out of shape. You can see her starting to play a little bit better now. And Caitlin's starting to find her way around the court. Watch out for the Fever. They're 4-10, which is only one game different than what the Chicago Sky was. So I think they're starting to get things together. Don't think they will be back in the lottery again next year for whoever that will be. With that being said, guess there were a lot of eyes on the game, so we have 3 roses, Bill. Not 4, unfortunately. 3 roses for the 3 Gamecocks that were in the biggest game in the W yesterday. Obviously, we had Aaliyah Boston, who put up big points, playing against her sister in the post, Carmela Cardoza, and Victoria Saxton was also on the roster for the Fever. So a lot of Gamecock representation in the eyes that are now currently in the W.
Tiffany Mitchell as well.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bill, in honor of National Bourbon Day, we can make it 4 roses. So we give out our roses to the Gamecocks, who are a representative as we watch the W. It's really cool to have seen these women play in college, get to follow them in their professional careers, looking at them doing big things. Carmela's having a good season in the post. Aaliyah's starting to come along. As I said, Victoria Saxton's holding on to the roster spot. So shout out to all of them. Again, it's a repeat. We'll rerun it again whenever this happens again. Bill, what you got?
Let's go back. Well, I'm looking for Tiffany. I don't know if Tiffany was in this one. I don't see her in the box score anywhere. I got Angel.
I thought I did see her.
There's a Kelsey Mitchell. but not
okay. Maybe that's
Mitchell.
what I was thinking of.
And unfortunately, coach's decision, Victoria Saxton did not play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back. Number one, that was a foul, okay? But it also doesn't need that much attention because it was a legitimate play. Like, kudos, the WNBA, they're without offending anybody, they're getting better players into that league. And what's happening is the physical nature of the league is ramping up. The league is becoming more competitive. You know, they're adding teams to the league. But we're shocked to see it. And there's no reason to be shocked to see it. If you've watched, we are a little bit different here in this market.
I think that's where we're a little bit different in this market.
We're a little bit different because we've watched a lot of women's basketball because of what Coach Staley has done over there, and we're a little bit more familiar with it. But to me, when you've watched some of these games, the league is getting better. Now, the next step is for them to secure some of these big television deals and to continue to have some of the attendance that is out there and raise the money, raise the revenue so that you can then in turn pay to what these women are worth.
Right.
All right. Are they underpaid right now? Maybe, but the bottom line is you got to continue to raise it. But when I see that play, I'm like, happens in the NBA all the time. It's a flagrant foul. That's a foul, but it's also, she didn't punch her.
Right.
Like, she made a play for the ball. It's happened. If you've ever played basketball in a somewhat competitive situation, that play happens.
Yes.
And Caitlin kind of agreed with it, but that was the big takeaway. Now, with that being said, Angel Reese is a villain.
And you know what? She's also she is definitely playing into that or leaning into the villain
She's
thing
leaned
because
into it.
Like her response is, I guess the whistles are for, only some people and stuff like that.
Special whistle.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the basketball issue with Angela. She fouls out too much. We go back to the tournament. She fouled out with 4 minutes left when her team was down by 2 points. They needed her.
Yeah.
And she's not
selfish.
She does dumb things on the court very frequently on the defensive side.
She is Draymond Green.
I could see that.
She is Draymond Green. I mean, that's who she is.
All the way to the point of she had another double-double before she fouled out.
Both of them. Both her and Camila Cardoso had double-doubles.
That's a good point.
Cardoso had 10 and 10 yesterday, and Angel had 11 and 13. And like you said, Aaliyah Boston. And I mean, you look at the post players. The post players, all three studs, Aaliyah, Camila, and Angel Reese, they all had double-doubles yesterday. Aaliyah Boston yesterday, 19 points, 14 rebounds. Also had 5 blocks, by the way.
Yeah, and just if you were seeing some of the clips and some of the highlights, you could just see them starting to get into that pick-and-roll game with Caitlin and Aaliyah, which I think is going to be very dangerous because what are you going to do? Are you going to sag off Caitlin because she's going to shoot a 3? Are you going to double up on her? Then Aaliyah's going to the basket. That's going to be a really difficult combination for folks to be able to handle. And I think that's the way folks envision, but surprise, surprise, they weren't able to do it the first time they stepped on the court. They're actually working to get better. But just from a basketball aspect, Angel does a lot of dumb things on the defensive side, which is part of her game. She takes a lot of risks. She plays very hard. I would say bordering on out of control on defense, and it costs her because she has to watch too many games from the bench when obviously they need her. Her teams need her on the court. So that would be my basketball critique.
I might have to go through, like you said, it's how many total fouls does she have this season? See if she's on a Chris Silva-esque pace. I can't remember when we did that, but it was a fun. That was a fun basketball season, and for all the wrong reasons. What was it? Hack to the top. Somebody had a hashtag we were using. Whatever it was for Chris Silva to not only break the record, but just demolish the record for fouls.
If I got 6, I'm using them all.
Oh, yeah. 803-404-6100. Really good stuff there. We'll come back. We got a couple topics.
Couple different ways to go here.
What's going on in Boulder with Dion and the Buffs?
I could have told you.
Hit that a little bit. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. Right now, you can beat the heat, and boy, do you need to. You know how South Carolina is, but you can beat the heat by contacting Roy and Dana Finley with AAA Heating and Air because they are offering one of the absolute best deals regardless of products out there right now. You can get a brand new heating and air system, and for 12 months, you will not have payments, and you will have no interest. You heard that right. Get a brand new system today and have no payments and no interest for a whole year. So call AAA Heating and Air. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, 803-677-1500. Again, 500. You can even get a free estimate. That's right. Call today, get a free estimate on a new heating and air unit. If you buy it, no payments, no interest for a whole year. You can't top that. Visit AAA Heating and Air. Give them a phone call, 803-677-1500.
Got chronic joint pain, not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. This is an all-natural way to use highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to give you lasting relief. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. So if you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, or shoulder pain, call QC Kinetics now. Call 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860. Again, 803-281-6860.
Highway 321 at I-26 still working that earlier tie-up. Also, Old Wire Road at 12th Street Extension. And I-26 eastbound after exit 97, we also have the report of a tie-up. 91 today and tomorrow, 89 on Wednesday, 90 for Thursday before it starts to warm back up a little bit more into the mid-90s. But 77 and overcast is what we're looking at right now on the early game.
Yeah, before we know it, college football will be here. But right now it's the wacky season where we have two massive debates going on. One is a legitimate discussion that needs to be had, and that's on Mike Leach.
Okay.
We'll get to that. The other one, okay, can't say I had this on any of my bingo cards for Deion Sanders when he took the Colorado job. Two kind of developing stories out there, and none of it has anything to do with throwing a touchdown pass, the defense playing better, any of the offensive linemen blocking for Shedeur Sanders. The first one, this is crazy. Shiloh Sanders. Everybody remember Shiloh? He played for South Carolina at a time.
He did.
He hit Bo Nix really hard one time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How has Shiloh Sanders ended up with $11 million in debt? And is filing bankruptcy.
Do tell.
Well, I don't know. So a judge on Friday issued a ruling that he is not throwing out. A federal judge has issued a ruling in the bankruptcy case of Colorado football player Shiloh Sanders, denying Sanders' attempt to dismiss a complaint from a former school security guard whom Sanders still owes $11 million.
Yeah, so this is stemming from a civil lawsuit that was filed against Shiloh when he was civilly charged with an assault against this security officer, which, by the way, he was charged with that. And guess where he came to school the next summer?
We didn't know about this, I don't think.
We didn't know about this. Obviously, somebody on staff knew about it.
Had to know about it.
It's a whole nother question. He comes to the University of South Carolina. There was a judgment against him. I think it's really interesting in how we're getting into the whole he's trying to file for his private assets, claiming bankruptcy so he can get away from not paying this judgment. Also, the idea of how much money does he have? Does he have any money? Does the family have money? What are the ramifications of this? Has he even signed any of these NIL deals that he was supposedly getting? Gets really interesting when you start dealing with people, and especially people of means and their finances.
Sanders filed for bankruptcy in October in an effort to free himself from the oppressive burdens of his debt. He's 24.
Okay.
That's how his attorney described it. So you go, okay, great. Deion's got baggage here with Shiloh Sanders. The other story, Shedeur Sanders.
Which Shiloh's always been like the other son.
Yeah, remember when Deion, I don't know if people remember this, when Deion went to Colorado and he had his opening press conference, he had Shedeur Sanders with him, and as he called it, his other son, Travis Hunter, and said the other son had some issues and he left him back at Jackson State.
Yeah, Shiloh's always been seen as sort of the black sheep of the family. And to bring the Gamecock connection all the way back, we signed Shiloh kind of trying to get that package deal. Shedeur was on the cusp, and the deal was like, all right, we'll take Shiloh, but there's another one coming along where we're going to probably need a quarterback here soon. So there is an alternate future where where Shiloh and Shedeur are in Gamecock uniforms and Deion's on the sideline. That is a distinct Gamecock future. If you don't remember how much we were playing up, oh, he's in town, prime time.
Well,
it was a big thing.
In that alternate future,
yes,
it also could include Lil Wayne concerts. This story coming out over the weekend is nuts. It is anonymous,
mm-hmm.
which is as we classified the bottom rung.
That's the bottom rung of sources.
Anonymous sources told Athlon Sports that on April 27th, the day of the Colorado spring game, Deion Sanders, after the game, ordered his players, told them that they had to attend a on-campus Lil Wayne concert that night. And as some anonymous players have said, Deion Sanders threatened to dismiss anyone who skipped out. There you go. Okay. Well, guess who else performed that night with Lil Wayne? Shedeur Sanders performed his debut rap single at the concert that night. According to a couple anonymous players, that is why there was a run of players that then entered the transfer portal. That this was the final straw.
I'm not going to that concert.
I do want to know if they got in for free. Like, last Friday, late in the afternoon, about 3:30, Deion Sanders does what we all do now when we need to put out information. He went to X or Twitter and said, "This is one of the best lies I've ever heard. God bless you, and I pray you sleep well tonight because we are." And then he has Laud, Lawd, and then Jesus in all capitals. Mm-hmm. Laud Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is flaming to a very spiraling end. Talk about the downward spiral, Trent Reznor. This is downward spiraling, and basically Deion's setting up the biggest family grift we've ever seen. He's going to be getting money from here. He's getting money from there. All of these people taking money. And then after this year, my bold prediction, as I've stated before, this will be the last year that Deion coaches for the Colorado Buffaloes if he makes it through this year. And Shedeur Sanders will not finish the season, not because he's hurt, but because he's suspected to be hurt, and he'll sit out to preserve his draft status.
We've talked about it. They open the season, North Dakota State.
Bad scheduling.
They will have North Dakota State to open the season, and
I do not want to play them.
I'm just trying to pull it back up. I think that's it's an ESPN Thursday night game. You lose that one.
And it's going to be in prime time. People are going to see North Dakota State line up in that I formation and run a counter trap, pound the ball down their throat. Bad business.
That'll be your opening. That is actually your kind of opening Thursday night game. And then if you haven't had enough Colorado by then, Colorado, I believe the next one, I have to go back and look, but I believe the next one they get the fighting Marcus Satterfields in week 2.
I'll be there for that.
Yep. No, they go to Colorado in week 2, 7:30 NBC game. Colorado goes to Lincoln, where I'm going to be under the assumption that Dylan Raiola will get the start at quarterback and that Marcus Satterfield will be just drawing up 99 plays for him to figure out.
99 screens just behind the line of scrimmage. 99 plays, 99 formations.
We will get into it, or maybe later on the week. The Mike Leach stuff, though, interesting. And something that we will. That is more of the serious discussion, whereas
what's the name of his song? Shedeur's song.
Oh, I didn't
have we heard this?
I didn't. I don't know.
Let's look at it.
Did this, by the way, South Carolina's got the recording studio. Was he over here cutting songs when Shiloh was playing, prepping for this?
I'm telling you, that Gamecock alternative universe is a distinct possibility. I saw Deion was spending time in Columbia. You remember the videos were out there about him? We got him. He's here. It wasn't for Shiloh. It was for Shedeur. And there was a possibility that Shedeur could have been wearing the garnet and black. Very distinct possibility. That was the whole game plan.
I'm thinking the song is called Perfect Timing because there does appear to be official audio on it.
Okay.
We'll check into that. We'll check it. Probably have to play that behind closed doors.
I'd assume that's not radio edited.
Nothing like another New York Post article that says Shedeur Sanders stays grinding in his first rap single. 803-40. It's going well.
It's been Buffalo. So hard. Shedeur's had such a tough life, man. It's been difficult, man.
It's going well in Boulder. Real well. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the Monday program. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. If tax troubles have been weighing you down, if they've been keeping you up at night, if you've received a notice from the IRS, it's time to call John Ecton and his team. Whether you're here in Columbia, maybe you're in Florence, maybe you're in Myrtle Beach, you're listening somewhere else in our great state this morning, John Ecton has a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good, and it all starts with a free consultation. Give them a phone call, 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. Get that free consultation and start removing the stress of taxes from your life. Don't let it weigh you down. It's summertime. You need to be out and enjoying life, not worrying over business or personal tax issues, and John Ecton is ready to help. Again, it starts with a free consultation. Make the phone call today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you, 803-771-9800. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. You know we're going to have those summer thunderstorms. They pop up here in the Midlands. They pop up down at the beach over in Florence, and it comes with heavy rains, some high winds, a little bit of hail. And the question is your roof ready to handle that? You need to. Make sure you call Mid-State Roofing today and line up your maintenance contract. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you. 803-356-1919. You'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. Again, that phone number, 803-356-1919. From high-rises to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee. It'll keep your operation dry and running long into the future. So, again, make the phone call today. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. 803-356-1919 or visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
They told me bust out my AP, perfect timing. Got them baguettes up on my neck and stay shining. It's never hot around my jewelry, chase a climbing.
I'm trusting you.
When they got that new Maybach, I stay grinding. They told me bust out my AP.
Let's cut that before I lose a job here. I don't.
Come on, Bill.
Did you
live on the wild
side? Did you soundproof that?
Of course I did, man.
Okay.
What you think I am, man? I've been talking in front of people for 20 years.
Absolutely.
Man. Of course I did. It is a little dangerous though. You gotta feel alive a little bit, man.
I got to survive 4 more minutes for 2 days of vacation.
And they had it all, and they blew it in the last minute trying to play the Shador Sanders.
Yeah. We were on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, and we're caught up in the Sanders family.
Shador, some save us.
I'm with you. Man, that schedule, it's different for them this year. And I do wonder if people in Colorado quietly are like, "Oh, are we getting what we bargained for here?"
Yeah, I mean they're getting the exposure that they wanted. They're getting everything that comes with Deion Sanders as a sideshow spectacle and thing, a whole entertainment vehicle. What they're not going to be getting is a coach pass this year. I will stand firmly on that.
Then where does he go? Like, does he go back? Does he realize like, hey, it's easier for me to go win at an HBCU?
No, Deion's done after this.
I don't know if I agree with. He might look around and be like, look, my name doesn't carry enough weight with NIL to recruit the way I want to. But at an HBCU, I can with no problems.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Deion's run his race. This is all in service of Shador, and Shador will go to the NFL, whatever states he is, and that'll be what he was trying to do. And it'll be mission accomplished for him, which kudos to him. He pulled off the biggest heights, but it's a wrap.
Poor Colorado.
Listen, they knew what they were signing up for when They knew what they were signing up for. They got sold the bill of goods, and they willingly signed up for it. We'll see. Listen, this is just my personal opinion. This is me, Preston Thorne. But I can just see a scenario where things start going south at Colorado next year, and for the safety and preservation of Shadour's NFL future,
I'm with you on that.
He doesn't play.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And if he doesn't play,
he and Travis Hunter,
it's over.
Travis Hunter too. Hunter will.
Well, Travis Hunter is about to find out that he's not actually Deion's son. Also.
Oh yeah. After that's.
He'll find that out also.
You just look at real quick at Colorado's schedule. I mentioned North Dakota State, Nebraska. That was a great game with Colorado State. That'll be a primetime game as well. But then you get Baylor, Central Florida, and Kansas State. 3 weeks to get a bye in there. If they're 1-5, you might be looking for a new quarterback. You might be looking for a new coach. You might be looking for everything come mid-October. And the way that whole thing has been built, you might have kids just transferring out mid-October.
Well, yeah, because nobody's there to be there. As much as college sports is transactional, that place is especially transactional. You know, if it works, great. That's just a really difficult draw with North Dakota State in the first game. I, as a Gamecock, would not want to play North Dakota State ever, especially in the first game of a season. So good luck to them.
On a Thursday night. Yeah, we'll get more into that. Also, we mentioned it, the Mike Leach deal. We got some audio. We'll get to try and get to that later on in the week here. Certainly, again, just kind of an interesting topic there. I don't want to get – I want to ask you, but I don't want to go too far down it.
We can save it.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I just Mike Leach, always fun to talk about, and quite honestly, if we're going to talk Mike Leach, we also need to have some other clips of him rambling about something.
We got to put the full context around him.
We got to have some of that, but we'll get into that. Been a lot of baseball talk, obviously, this morning. Tonight, real quick, NBA Finals, 3-1. The Celtics. I mean, do you even get into this thing tonight?
No,
now?
I think I officially jumped off. Because even a game where the Mavs won, it still wasn't a good game.
No.
So I don't know. Mavs win tonight. Maybe I'll start peeking my head back around.
Yeah, no, I've tried. It's been an interesting series because I do enjoy the fact that we've seen more, and we now know Luka Doncic more. Like, oh, man, really good offensive player. Wow, really bad defensive player and very whiny.
And a baby.
Yes. Like, this is kind of, as we were talking about with Roy McIlroy earlier, seeing that other side of him, you've kind of seen, okay, Luka's really good, but wow, he is a baby.
It's a good point because when you see on SportsCenter, all you see is the clips. Right. You see him doing amazing shots. You see him pulling up all of these cool angles. But you don't watch
runner with the knee pick.
Yeah, he's got all the cool stuff.
He's like a Dirk Nowitzki 2.0. The old knee up kind of.
Yeah, Dirk was so good. Oh man, Dirk was so good. Luka's good, but he's not ready to take that next step as a leader.
Well, we'll get into that. I'm out tomorrow. Preston will be here. We're all out on Wednesday. I'll be back on Thursday. Preston will be with me, and Jen will be on vacation. So y'all have we'll get us through this week and next. As Preston said, best 2 weeks of the summer.
Enjoy it.
Y'all have a great rest of the day. We'll see you. Talk to you tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. We are at that time of the year where you start thinking about your plans for the back half of the year. Do you want to refinance? Do you want to build a home? Do you want to purchase a new home? Maybe you're trying to think about selling your home. Whatever it is, Jacob Crowder is the mortgage guru in this market. He helped me just a few years ago, got me a great plan, great interest rate, put me in that condo on the lake, and he can do the exact same thing for you. Give him a phone call today, 803-719-1005. First Palmetto Bank is locally owned and operated, which means they have local decision makers, which means quick and precise underwriting. So if you're looking to make a move, now is the time. For example, maybe you're thinking about building a home. Well, guess what? First Palmetto Bank has a no-nonsense construction loan that will fit your needs. Call Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005, or you can email him the letter J, Crowder at firstpalmetto.com. Again, that phone number, 803-719-1005. Call the Mortgage Guru today. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you.